We're going to move on to the other big story here in Canada because hundreds of workers in Ingersoll, Ontario have been laid off as the General Motors assembly plant halts production or will be laid off. The company said in a statement Friday that the closure is a result of the market and that it will reopen in October with reduced production. Here to discuss the impact on Canadian workers is the national president of Unifor, Lana Payne. Lana, it's good to see you, even on a difficult day. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, David.
We've been bracing for more job losses in the auto sector as a result of what Donald Trump has done with tariffs. But this has more to do with the electric vehicle market, as we understand it. Walk us through the reasons behind what's happening in Ingersoll.
Well, you can't untangle these two factors, David. That's the reality. I understand what the company's saying, and I understand that our members have been knowledgeable of reduced sales and what they've been building in this facility. But we have seen two things. That is a change in yes, market demand, but also a change in policy around electrification of the automobile industry in the United States under Donald Trump. And now the tariffs are providing another crushing impact that is just driving down demand and driving down sales. All of these things are connected, and they're all as a result of one person right now, the President of the United States.
Right, but Lana, I guess even before the tariffs came in, governments here in Canada were kind of ending the EV rebates and incentive programs were going offline, and the electric vehicle mandate in the United States is very much in doubt, right, with President Trump.
Yes.
I mean, are those the main things? Because it sounds like when you look at this plant, it was very much moving in that direction, specializing in electric vehicles. That seems to be the critical factor, I guess. So what does it look like in Ingersoll when it does get back to what its new level of operation is going to be?
Yeah, I mean, you can't untangle the two, David, and I wouldn't want to. What is going to happen is that there will be almost a 50% cut in the workforce, 40 to 50%, which means a lot of people, a lot of workers, a lot of families, the whole community are impacted by this. And we will be down to one shift at the CAMI facility for the foreseeable future, and that is a problem. There are a number of things that can happen here. We are going to pressure the company, as you would expect us to do, to mitigate the layoffs, to look at alternatives in terms of boosting production at the facility. And, we're calling on levels of government to match up their industrial policy with the use of procurement dollars. And there are things that we can do to help the CAMI plant, whether it's building electric vans for Canada Post or whatever it is, because they're looking to change over their fleet to make sure that this plant gets through this trade war. That the reality is that the forecasts are now showing that sales and demand for vehicles are going to drastically reduce under this tariff regime, and that's what we have to be thinking about. It's potentially 1.8 to 2 million fewer vehicles that will be sold in 2025 because of these tariffs, and that's 8 assembly plants, David. That is you just can't. You can't change the numbers. Donald Trump is crushing the North American auto industry with these tariffs, and it is going to hurt workers all across the continent.
Lana, where do things stand, do you think, in sort of the transition towards making more electric vehicles in this country? I mean, the consumer carbon tax is not going to survive this election. I mean, it was set to zero by Mark Carney on April 1 of this year. And that was one of the real incentives out there, the price at the pump to drive people to buy electric vehicles. There are deals with Volkswagen, there are deals with Stellantis for the battery plants, but with the changing attitude in the U.S. and the shifting attitudes here, where does this sort of leave this transition? And do you think those big industrial plants or those big battery plants?
This is what I have said to the automakers that we deal with, and that is they want to be very, very careful here, David, that they ease up on the path forward to electrification, because there's a whole part of the world that is already far, far ahead of them, including China. And if they're not careful, China's going to eat their lunch here. So, this is not just a problem for today. It is a problem for 3 and 5 years down the road if they don't go ahead with transformation. It's happening all across the world, and North America can't be left behind here.
Okay, and just one last question for you, Lana. I just wonder, this comes shortly after the Stellantis closure that we talked about before, right? The temporary closure. There is this worry of contagion and more closures and the ripple effect throughout the parts suppliers. I mean, where are things a week or so since we last spoke on these things?
Well, we still have obviously a lot of members out of work at the Stellantis plant. We got word later today that our members will go back to work for 2 weeks, both shifts on April 21st and the week into April 28th. And then after that, we don't know. So that's a problem. We saw shifts being canceled at Oshawa this week because of parts shortages from the United States, transmissions were not available to build these pickup trucks. It is all over the place right now, and it's the stuff that keeps me awake at night. I don't stop thinking about it, and I don't stop working to make sure that we're doing everything possible in this country to protect this industry, and more importantly, the tens and tens of thousands of workers who depend on it. All across Ontario, but in other places too. And the reality is, the contagion effect, of course, is a reality, but these tariffs are going to cause such a problem for the industry that there'll be no way coming back from it, and U.S. workers will feel the brunt of this too. It's not possible to avoid unless the president pulls back right now.
Lana Payne, National President of Unifor, we always appreciate your time. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks, David.
Okay.